Hello guys, today we'll be looking at the best players in Geometry Dash. In Geometry Dash is Forgotten Legends. This I've been wanting to do for a while, as it is GD week, hopefully when this comes out, but I'll be posting a GD related video every single day. But today we'll be talking about the heroes, the villains and the cheaters of Geometry Dash. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Before we jump back in time, all the way back to 2013, when RobTop definitely didn't steal the popular platformer game, the Impossible game, we have to think of all of the influential people who helped shape the GD history. These are just some out of the many who helped shape GD history as it is today. But today we'll be looking at 8 influential people, 4 militia hackers, and 4 heroes that helped shape GD as it is today. Now, we'll begin our journey in 2013, where RobTop definitely didn't steal the Impossible game. And then he went on to make Geometry Dash. Now, you see, before we get into any of these top ones or extreme demons, we need to think about how we even got the demon rating. I mean, before, everyone just used to try and grind stars and see who was the best. But when someone called M2 Cool, some weird creator who decided to push the limits of RobTop's game and make a level that deserves, say, 30 stars instead of 9 stars, then no one actually wanted to play it. And demon levels were heavily disliked, but RobTop loved them. And he made the famous demon rating off of M2 Cool's Demon Park, which ended up getting easy demon and 10 stars. So now you can flex on your friends, saying how many demons you have instead of just grinding stars all day. But now we've covered that. Now, one of our first legends, Cyclic, is already getting hooked on the game. And so is another one, Andromeda. Now, Andromeda is a very interesting case. You see, he was very good at GD. In fact, he beat some of the hardest levels ever, like Red World, or Ice Titan Carblo DX, or Cataclysm. He was just absolutely striding through all of these levels. And he was a brilliant star grinder as well, getting past everyone to become top 1 on the leaderboard. And can you believe this all started after he just saw some guy playing it on the bus on the way to school? Wow, I can't believe it either. But you can tell already by this video, there was something definitely up with Andromeda. Maybe because it was the pressure, or the overarching to succeed, or the brilliant praise which comes with becoming the top 1 player in the world. But he just crumbled under the pressure, and he somehow, some way, was cheating. Now, we actually don't know how Andromeda was cheating. It's most likely due to something called speed hacking. You see, you can slow a level down to beat it at a snail's pace. Then, you can quickly go back into whatever software editor you're using and just speed the footage back up. It's so simple. But Andromeda didn't know that. So, when he was found out for hacking, all his achievements were destroyed. But that's not the end of Andromeda. You see, Andromeda wasn't your ordinary run-of-the-mill hacker. No, he doesn't just quit after he gets found out. He beat every single level that he hacked and more. But this story doesn't have a happy ending. You see, because Andromeda was a hacker, and because he tried to be everything legit, he started to fall out of the top runnings, and he slowly faded away, never to be seen again. Let's move on to our first hero, well, second hero if you count Andromeda, of this story, Riot. You may know Riot. Riot is a very famous Geometry Dash player, mostly famous for beating his level called Bloodbath. But in order to understand Riot, you need to understand his rival, Cyclic. You see, there was a level called Cataclysm. The race to beat Cataclysm was unimaginable. It was so exciting. Everyone tuning in, players absolutely going for it, being the first ones to beat Cataclysm. But there was something wrong with Cataclysm. You see, Cataclysm was actually a hacked top 1. It was hacked by its level creator, GG Boy. He hacked his level onto the servers, hoping that he would never get caught. But he did eventually get caught. But that didn't stop Robtop from rating the level. You see, after GG Boy hacked it onto the servers, a few people took a crack at it, like Riot and Cyclic. Now, Cyclic was a very interesting player. You see, he was a Korean player, and Riot was an American player. They were all the way on different sides of the earth. But no one knew that. They just wanted to have some fun. They just wanted to be the first ones to beat this level. But we all know who beat it first and how the story ends. Cyclic ends up beating Cataclysm before Riot, cementing his place as the top 1. You see, Cyclic had been playing for a while before Riot, like maybe a year or 2, because he was actually around when Andromeda was around. So was Riot, but he wasn't as good. But Cyclic was very good. He was actually top 1 at one point, even before this happened. But now, his place firmly cemented in GD history. But Riot wasn't going to let that slide. No. Riot, of course, wouldn't let that slide. You see, Riot wanted to make a level harder than Cataclysm. An absolute beast of a level that no one could take on but him. The level's name was Bloodbath. Bloodbath was a very, very, very hard level. I mean, like, very, very, very hard. I mean, I've beaten those, so, like, can't be that hard, right? No, stop throwing the tomatoes. Okay, guys, so, but Riot, when making Bloodbath, made Cyclic scared. Because if you think about it, Cyclic was the top 1, the cemented top 1. But if Riot made this really hard level and beat it, he would take his place. So he made a level called Sonic Wave. Sonic Wave was a tough 9 circles inspired level with its blue flashing lights and its extreme demon prowess. Now, Cyclic actually made Sonic Wave harder than Bloodbath, and then he beat it, and it was unbelievable. Like, literally quite unbelievable. Like, no one actually believed him when he verified it, because it was such a beast of a level. No one else had ever done that yet. So, now Cyclic had 2 options to make. He could either keep the level as it was and post video recordings of him beating it, or he could buff the hell out of the level and then beat it again. And this time, he actually did. But he did option 1 and 2 combined. Wait, what? Yeah, I know. He decided to buff it and then post video proof. Because if no one was going to believe him then, they certainly wouldn't believe him now. But I just think he was doing it to make sure it's 100% harder than Bloodbath. I mean, because that's the entire reason he's making the level. Okay, that was pretty funny. Let me just move on. Okay, so then 2 top dogs fighting for the spot with their levels obviously trying to be harder than Bloodbath. But with Riot getting his new 240 Hz monitor, he was able to do the impossible.
Oh my god!
Cyclic was hoping that Bloodbath would not be harder than Sonic Wave. But, as we can all tell, the community already knew that something was up with Cyclic, and it was only a matter of time before Cyclic confessed he was a hacker, and Riot's reaction was priceless.
It's crazy. It's actually
Disbelief. He couldn't believe that he'd been going against a hacker the entire time. This was actually insane to him. He had never thought that Cyclic was a hacker. He always thought of him as his nice rival, trying to strive him for the best. But, oh well, I guess things never change. But we may as well move on to our next hero. And his name is Technical. You see, Technical is a very old GD player. You might not know him, you might not. But Technical the first player ever to beat Zodiac. You see, Zodiac is a very interesting level as it was hack verified by its set verifier Zonda, who really wanted to get this level out. He didn't want to be replaced. He didn't want to have that shame being carried around for him for the rest of his GD career. So he did something unspeakable. He hack verified it onto the servers. But you might think that's normal as of this. I mean, he is a villain of this story. He is a hacker. But it's not that deep, right? Wrong. That is very deep. No one should be hack verifying levels, even if they're Riot. Especially if they use a set verifier for any level. Especially when it's a top level as well. That was just inexcusable. But Technical was here to save the day, as he beat Zodiac and became our next legend on this list. We now move on to an infamous pairing, Zoink and Space UK. Space UK was a very undisputedly good GD player. Even when he wasn't hacking, he was one of the best. He was an amazing GD player. You see, this story all started with a guy called Space UK. He had just beat the code and in a few months worked his way up to Wazaretta. Now, a few people were already suspicious of him. Like, how can you go from code to Wazaretta? A top 20 at the time. That was insane. Obviously, we know that was all real and that wasn't cheated. But when Space UK took on the Golden, he accidentally used a no-clip hack. And he only realized that 20 minutes later after he felt the rush of excitement after beating such a hard level. But he decided to post it anyway, thinking that if he got caught, then he would just quit the GD scene and leave it forever. But miraculously, he didn't get caught. You see, the Golden is a very dark level, so no one could tell there was no clip. And also, hitbox detection stuff didn't actually exist back then, so you could never tell when someone was no clipping in a dark level or not. Space UK then took on Kinos. Really beat it, but a bug in this software recording messed up the footage and the footage was lost to time. So Space UK decided, you know what, if I hack again, maybe no one will find out. So he purchased a macro called Zbot. Zbot was a popular macro. Now, with this macro, Zbot beating Kinos, yes, he hacks another one. And from then on, he would keep hacking his way to the top 1, and even discrediting some legends like Zoink and Crisis, who were just behind him on the leaderboard. But when Space UK was eventually found out by Colo GD, then it had all changed forever. Space UK got found out because the creator of Zbot decided to put a really smart thing in. You see, when you beat a level with Zbot, the level complete screen text is just a tiny bit smaller than the normal one, which is how he ended up being caught. Fascinating, right? You see, he was gone from the competitive scene. All his records were wiped, and he was never seen again. Now, we move on to Zoink, who I was just talking about briefly, how he was behind Space UK. You see, Zoink is a very talented player, probably the best of our generation. Going as far as to verify Acheron, and to verify Avernus, and to verify Tidal Wave. Zoink is just so good, I can't fit it all in one video. I'll probably have to do an entire video about Zoink. That's how good he is. But briefly, I'll tell you a bit about him. You see, Zoink is definitely the best player as of right now, verifying Thinking Space 2, Tidal Wave, Acheron with fixed hitboxes, and Avernus. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it is true. Zoink is absolutely insane. Still going on to this day and not being seen as a hacker. No one thinks he's a hacker because he's not. He's just that good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.